A warm welcome to all our parents and caregivers to our online version of the Year 7 Information Evening. Obviously, many staff will speak today about how Year 7 works at the school, but we do know it's a very important part of their Laurie's journey. If you are new to the college, you're very, very welcome. If you're continuing, it is a step up and it's a change, and I'd like to talk about some of those changes. This year we have 286 Year 7 boys walking through our gates going into the Year 7 precinct. Year 7 is a program that we develop to make sure that they develop good habits at our school. With the COVID pandemic continuing, please be rest assured it's our hope to provide as normal of a school environment as is possible. Obviously we need to have some changes and we don't know what the future holds, but at Laurie's we're not a school that likes to cancel things. If at all possible, we like to continue with events, whether they be school-based events, whether they be co-curricular programs, and indeed teaching and learning. I know that in education, face-to-face is best, and that's what we're aiming to do for the rest of the year. Indeed, the federal government has asked that we remain open as best we can into the future. So hopefully we can get through this year in as best and a normal way as is possible. Year 7 is the beginning of our middle years journey. There is change to timetables, changes to moving around. We hope these 72-minute lessons help our boys adapt to that change. We also know some boys are particularly anxious if they're new to the school. Please speak with our staff if that is the case. Year 7 for our boys coming from primary means that they start to connect more with their house. Our 10 houses here are our pastoral care structure. Those heads of house and house mentors will walk with your boy for 6 years. And that is a way that we understand that boys connect. They connect through house, they connect through people. And so I ask you to reach out to your head of house should you have any queries or concerns. And it's also a new beginning for many of our boys, and I hope the beginning's positive for everyone. It's very important for me that we know who the boys are individually. So, who are our boys? I hope we can know their stories, a little bit about where they've come from, their schools, their families, what they enjoy, so that their learning can be catered in a way that suits their needs. I hope we know their learning. Staff here will be analysing their learning data to make sure that we're meeting the needs of all boys, whether you need support or extension, or perhaps occasionally just a little bit of encouragement to do your best. And it's my hope that very early on we'll know the strengths and weaknesses of every student in Year 7. As you begin your secondary Laurie's journey, I'll just outline my hope for your sons. I hope at Laurie's they feel valued and they enjoy going to school. I hope they continue to grow in their learning and grow as young men of integrity. And I hope they continue to develop good habits. Good habits in early secondary mean good outcomes at the end of Year 12, leading to good employment and hopefully leading to good lives for all our young men. To our parents and caregivers, welcome to secondary school at Laurie's, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the presentation. Thank you.
The community of St Lawrence's College acknowledges that this school stands on the sacred lands of the Turrbal and Yagara peoples. While there's been great change to this land over many generations, the story and spirit of the traditional owners will be written in the landscape. In the spirit of reconciliation, we honour and respect custodians past, present and emerging. We are grateful for the opportunity to join with them in continuing to nurture this land. Let us remember we are one in land, one in spirit and one in community. The theme for 2022 is One in the Spirit. The theme looks at us as a Catholic community and what unites us and makes us unique. The Spirit itself can take on many different meanings, and even those who may not be connected to a faith still have a spirit burning inside of them. Ronald Rolheiser says that everyone has a spirituality. Before we do anything religious, we must do something with the fire that burns inside of us. It is how we direct or channel this fire that becomes our spirituality. We direct or channel these desires or fire through the habits we choose to live by, leading to a greater integration of our minds, bodies and souls, or even God's, others and the cosmic world. At St Lawrence's College, we channel our passions to building an inclusive community which continually seeks to create and renew respectful and compassionate relationships by which can all experience what it means to be fully human. While our students strive to find what stirs their soul, the Laurie's journey guides them, and this journey is not taken alone. It involves the whole community and ensures that everyone knows they are valued in the image and likeness of God. While our theme is one in the Spirit, our touchstone that we focus on this year is inclusive community. When Edmund Rice first set up his schools, it was about creating communities where everyone could be included. This was written about Edmund Rice in starting up his first schools. Edmund's schools for the rejects of society was opened in the same area where those who were at the pinnacle of society lived. This seems hardly an accident. He was welcoming to these urchins, God's gentry, into this salubrious residential area as having a right to be there. Given such provocative action, it was but natural to expect that the inhabitant objected to his boys. From its very genesis, Rice's education was challenging and subversive. It deliberately attacked the class system that allocated people for life into categories set for them by convention or by those who with influence and power. Rice welcomed these children into his society as guests, having a rightful place to be there because of the common humanity that they all shared. And we pray together in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty God, through your Holy Spirit you created unity in the midst of diversity. We acknowledge that human diversity is an expression of your manifold love of your creation. We confess that in our brokenness as human beings, we turn diversity into a source of alienation, injustice, oppression and wounding. Empower us to recognise and celebrate differences as your great gift of the human family. Enable us to be architects of understanding, of respect and love. You, the one from whom on different paths all of us have come, to whom on different paths all of us are going. Make us strong in our heart in what unites us. Build bridges across what divides us. United, make us rejoice in our diversity, and at one in witness to your peace, a rainbow to your glory. Live Jesus in our hearts forever. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
My name is Vanessa Bell and I'm the Dean of Middle School. This means that I will work with you and your student through his years in Year 7 to 9. My job is to help with their pastoral formation and wellbeing. Another part of my job is mistake management. With the help of all staff at Laurie's and also our heads of house, we will help your son and guide him through those mistakes which are often inevitable for adolescents. The next 6 years is a time of incredible growth for your son, and at this moment we are at that very foundation level as he enters secondary school at Laurie's. My biggest piece of advice for your boys at this point in time as they enter secondary school is to get involved. By being present, by participating, by being persistent, they will gain loads of skills, make new friends, and find that they will settle in quickly. So from the foundation level that we're at today, over the next 6 years, he will grow into a young Laurie's gentleman. And our vision for that young gentleman is that he graduates from Laurie's as a young man with confidence and resilience, a pathway and 21st century skills, that he's achieved his best, that he's made a connection, that he feels connected to a community and to his college, that he has mates and bonds, that he's enjoyed his Laurie's journey, that he has felt a valued part of a community, and that he has direction for the future. I'd like to now talk about pastoral support at the college. A lighthouse is there to help ships navigate their path. So too, there are very many people at St Lawrence's College who are there to help your son and you navigate their path and their Laurie's journey. As you would already be aware, your son is part of a house. Within those houses, he will be part of a homeroom. Our homerooms are of vertical nature. That means that they have students in them from each grade from year 7 to 12. This is a really important aspect of their pastoral development as they get to interact with students of all year levels. In addition to your house mentor and your head of house, we have other support available through our counselling team, through our head of student engagement, our head of teaching and learning of middle school, Miss Sarah Gunn, and also I am always available at any time should you need. I mentioned the head of house, and the head of house is a key person in your son's journey. They are the constant in your journey for the next 6 years, as too is the house mentor. Your head of house and house mentor are your first port of call for absolutely any questions, and also any concerns about the well-being or welfare of your son. They will also be there to help with that mistake management that I spoke about earlier, and they will also challenge your son. This can be challenging him from anything from his hairstyle, the way he's wearing his uniform, the way he's engaging in his subjects, or just knowing that he has got a little something extra in the tank to give. They're also there to support and encourage. They will get to know your boy and his strengths and his difficulties. So should you have any questions or queries or concerns, please contact your house mentor or head of house. They are your first port of call and can direct you to the best person to help you with your needs. Secondary education is different to primary education, and we're hoping that your son will see a growth in autonomy this year and into the future. However, at this stage, parental support is vital. We still need you to help him with his organisation. So things like monitoring his diary, due dates of assessment, those sorts of things are a key thing that parents can assist with. Also down to those little things like labelling clothing, lunch boxes, and making sure that bags and all of their equipment is labelled clearly. And finally, I would like to remind you that you know your boy best. So therefore, if you have any questions or concerns, it's really important that you do communicate them with us. Because what we often find is, despite the fact that teachers, heads of house, house mentors will check in with your son to see how he's going, often the conversation that he has at home with you can be different to what he's having here with us. He can often brush us off and say that everything's fine, but basically there can be some underlying issues that he's trying to navigate. So by communicating those with the head of house or house mentor, we can work together to negate those problems. St Lawrence's is a very busy place, and parental involvement can come in a number of ways. We have all sorts of ways that you can also get involved in a Laurie's journey of your own. We have plenty of opportunities through our LCC, parent evenings, mother and son nights, father and son nights, our gala, Jazz on the Hill, and those are just some of the events that you can get involved in and be part of. I would like to now speak briefly about tips for students. At the start of this year, I will be constantly reminding your son that he is a blank canvas. He can create and be the person he wants to be. He's no longer tied to the image that he created at primary school or the boundaries that he set himself. We ask boys to relax, enjoy themselves, get organised, get involved, and also to challenge themselves. High school is definitely a time when they can try new things, and we very much encourage boys to do that. Friendships. It will take a little while sometimes to develop friendships, and whilst it is very easy to stick with those friends that you knew from primary school, I would challenge boys to step outside their comfort zone and try and befriend a new person, someone they don't know. There are lots of people out there with common interests. And finally, smile. This is a great place to be, and there are lots of people that you can ask for help and advice along your way. During these unsettled times, we do expect that families will need to keep their boys home from time to time due to illness. However, I would ask families to make sure that they are encouraging their boys to spend as much time at school and in the classroom for face-to-face learning as possible. I'm not asking you to send your son to school sick, but I do want to challenge you to not give him the easy way out and stay home. As you can see by the table, we might think that 1 or 2 days off here and there doesn't make a big difference, but the table there indicates that by missing even 1 or 2 days a week, it can add up to years over their 13-year schooling journey. Health and wellbeing during this time is key and critical. We therefore require students to be wearing masks at all time unless under the direction of staff and where social distancing can occur. We'd also like to remind parents and students that hand sanitising and washing of hands is very important. And in terms of masks, I would really ask you to pack a spare one. Just like they would in their pencil case have extra pens and equipment, please make sure that their bag has an extra mask or 2 in there. I would also like your support on reminding students that travelling to and from school on public transport with a mask is a must. Finally, despite the fact that I have encouraged students to attend school as often as possible, I would ask parents to ensure that they keep their son home if he is ill or experiencing any type of flu-like symptoms. As you would be aware, our 2022 calendar events have been disrupted already this year. Please be aware that we will notify you of changes to dates and arrangements in a timely fashion through our modes of communication. Our Year 7 camp has been postponed and we are currently looking at dates in Term 1 or Term 2. So this will go ahead but at a later date. Our Year 7 Mother and Son Night has been postponed at the moment, but we will send out some activities that you can do with your son so that you can enjoy a night together. I'd like to thank you for your time this evening and encourage you one last time to reach out if you have any questions or concerns. I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening.
Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Higo and part of my role here at St Lawrence's College is to assist our Year 7s with their transition into middle school. I'm very honoured to work at a school where we acknowledge that the impending change of routines, expectations and assessment requirements causes significant social emotional challenges for our young people. The move from Year 6 to 7 is widely seen as an integral crossroad as young people move from a small, self-contained classroom, commonly with one teacher, to a more heterogeneous school with increased expectation of independent academic performance with less teacher scaffolding. Throw in COVID-19 and online learning and it can become more daunting for our young people and our families. We acknowledge that these young people and you as our families require a consistent message surrounding these new routines, expectations, procedures for an extended period of time before it sinks in and becomes our automatic and our Laurie's way. The program this year has been amended to reflect our current ever-changing educational climate and will begin when the boys return to our college for face-to-face learning on the 7th of February. In short, this program is designed to ensure all Year 7 students feel connected to the college, learn key information to feel confident in engaging in our SLC community, and actively practice new routines. Specific activities include the introduction and explanation of our Year 7 theme, Doing Our Best as Laurie's Gentlemen, forming positive relationships through head of house formation time, homeroom time, and allocation of a Year 12 body, learning the small yet significant skills such as timetable explanation, how to use a lock, organising your locker, school tours, diary setup, and learning our college song. Different middle school tips and tricks. The boys are exposed to an SLC community guest panel. There's a lot of different moving parts here and opportunity for our boys. So we introduce them to people from sport, music, the arts, industrial technologies, our faith and action, Dean of Identity, middle school studies, learning support, our IT department and our counselling services. We also take time to discuss the important need to knows that come with our school policy and procedures. These include homework expectations, what can assessment look like, what's our mobile phone rules, how do we wear our uniform, how we acknowledge behaviour, both positive and negative, house assemblies, and where do you even sit in a whole school assembly. So we take the time to take them through those different ways of working. Students also engage in PAT testing, that's maths, e-write and reading, which Miss Gunn has mentioned. And lastly, there is a slow progression into a new routine by attending some of their timetable classes. This whole program will be emailed to you and the boys, so you and your son know what's coming up each day. In our Laurie's Learning Gateway, under the Student Portal, there is a Year 7 transition tile. On this page, the boys will find information to ease their transition under the Learning the Laurie's Way how-to videos. I've preloaded a variety of instructional videos that students can refer to at any point this year or into next. Some of the videos include how to navigate Student Cafe, how to create and send appropriate emails, how to create Outlook folders and OneNote folders, how to create Outlook reminders, and so on and so forth. These are skills that we don't assume the boys know or come preloaded ready to go, or remember after one experience or lesson. We further develop these skills with the 7s during their scheduled information communication lesson, which is timetabled once a cycle or once a fortnight. This subject is just for Year 7, as we know information and skills need to be drip-fed at the right time to avoid overwhelming them with information. This subject and lesson is not assessed and is solely skill-based. This term will be focused to learning self-regulation skills, so use of diary, Outlook reminders, study planner and timetable, student cafe navigation, smart goal setting, APA referencing, and the continuation of NAPLAN preparation. The skills move to NAPLAN online preparation. To finish my presentation, I hoped to impart 3 tips or reassurances for you as families. Patience is your best friend. It will take time for your son to adjust to this significant new way of operating and thinking. It's important that we acknowledge that each child is different. Therefore, each transition period is going to be different. And it's important that we try not to compare him to siblings or friends or peers. And that's important to remember for all of us. Frequent check-ins. As your son moves from your primary school child to your big high school student, or son I should say, and seek their independence, it's important to push the conversation and not settle for the grunt or fine or I'm good or yeah all right. We often find that having these check-in conversations where they don't have to face you, like driving or walking or cooking or kicking the footy, can help take the perceived pressure off when you're gently checking in to monitor their thinking, their experiences, and their well-being. Lastly, the importance of support networks. It can take a village to raise a child, and we're honoured to now be part of your village. If you don't know the answer or don't quite trust the information coming home, please get in touch with one of us. Even if you don't know the right person, pastoral, academic, admin, just ask one of us and we'll direct you to the best support. Thank you, and I look forward to working with you and your son this year.
Good evening, Year 7 parents, and welcome to our evening tonight. My name is Liam Herbert, and I'm the Dean of Teaching and Learning here at St Lawrence's College. I particularly welcome new Year 7 parents to our college. Tonight, I'm really going to discuss the overall teaching and learning, framework of the college. And Miss Sarah Gunn, who is our Head of Middle School Teaching and Learning, will talk about specifics, particularly in the Year 7 teaching and learning space. I just wanted to outline my vision and intent and outline some priorities for this year, particularly with our teaching and learning area. So my vision is really around making sure that teaching and learning within our college is at the front of what we think, say and do as a college. And it's visible, and some of the great work that our students and our teachers are doing are actually shared with the rest of the staff. The teaching and learning team at St Lawrence's College went away on a retreat last year, and we developed a teaching and learning vision. And it's really about what we aim to achieve for all of our students here at St Lawrence's College. And we are really focused on developing programs around engagement, growth and excellence. And the overall, touchstone that we nest in is liberating education. So our aim is to develop programs that are engaging to provide liberating education for our young men. My particular priorities for 2022 are the implementation of the agreed practice framework, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in the next couple of slides. Our professional learning teams, which are really time for our teachers to, particularly this year, to meet and develop really robust and engaging curriculum for our 7s to 9s, and also our visibility of our teaching and learning, really focused on learning walks, which I conduct every week, and that's a part of making sure that our teaching and learning is visible across the college and particularly on social media. The agreed practice framework really stemmed from, we have a teaching and learning framework. We also have a positive behaviour for learning document, which stems from our pastoral area, but there was nothing really tying both frameworks together, which really, outlined what a Laurie's classroom really looked like. So we put together both what we wanted the Laurie's classroom to look like and how we wanted our boys to grow. So that's the acronym we use. And GROW stands for growth mindset. Our boys are respectful, they are organised, and our classroom are welcoming. And we use the term we throughout the agreed practice framework. And the term we really stands for students, parents and teachers together to develop, an environment which is best suited for teaching and learning for your young man. The agreed practice framework is really outlining what our classroom should look like at the beginning of the lesson, during the lesson, and at the conclusion of the lesson, and also what we expect in the schoolyard. So for instance, at the start of the lesson, most of our classrooms across the college will look like students line up, they wait until the teacher greets them, they come in, they stand behind their places, they might say a prayer or an engaging activity, and then they sit down ready for the lesson. During the lesson itself, it's really speaking about how we ask our boys to be engaged in their learning, and then at the conclusion of the lesson, we pack up and we greet everyone and say goodbye to everyone respectfully. When we start every single lesson, it's really important that our teachers clarify our learning, but also our students understand what they are learning, why they are learning it, and what success looks like for them at the end of the lesson. And at the start of every lesson, teachers will outline this so that it's really clear that students understand this what, why success. And this agreed practice framework is very visible across the college, and our teachers follow that in the majority of cases. Our other focus areas this year is also on developing a NAP plan improvement team. And this is where a number of middle leaders are getting together and trying to understand and unpack our data from last year, but also developing an action plan to look at our NAP plan improvement for this year. Another area of focus this year is the continuation of the Curriculum Council. The Curriculum Council is a group of curriculum middle leaders, or teaching and learning middle leaders rather, who focus primarily on achieving the strategic goals of our college and making sure that our teaching and learning environment across the college is the most effective and engaging for our boys. And finally, we're trialling a new middle school assessment calendar. Ms Sarah Gunn will talk a little bit more about that later on in her presentation, but I just wanted to outline what it looks like for Year 7 parents and students. And the reason we moved towards this is what we found is that students were completing a lot of assessment and within a shortened time frame. So what we've done this time is we've actually said there's no summative assessment in Term 1 for Year 7s. Parents and students will still receive formative feedback to determine how they're going. Parents will still receive feedback via the interim report, which will lead into parent-teacher interviews in Term 2. And you'll also notice on the screen that the assessment tasks that are due, there are a number of continuous assessment tasks which are completed throughout the whole term in class, and there are also those that are due spread out throughout the term. And that is deliberate, and that is to make sure that our boys can complete assessment without the stresses of all the assessment due at once. Once again, I thank parents and welcome those new parents to the college. More information will be given from Ms. Sarah Gunn later on the presentation. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Sarah Gunn and I work as the Head of Middle School Teaching and Learning at SLC. Over the next 10 minutes, I'd like to provide you with a brief overview of the nuts and bolts of curriculum, homework and assessment. So as parents, you know what to expect this year. Curriculum. The Year 7 forms the foundation of a successful secondary education. The subjects your son will study for a full year include English, maths, religion, science, health and physical education, industrial technology and ICT. To prepare for Year 8 and 9 subject selection at the end of this year, your son will study 3 electives in Semester 1 and then 3 new electives in Semester 2. These subjects include history, geography, art, drama, music and Chinese. To build strong relationships, your son will travel with his house group for religion and HPE. For all other subjects, class composition is mixed. Learning resources. Subject teachers will take their classes to Text Hire to borrow any hard copy resources that they require. We are, however, increasingly utilising online learning resources as a one-to-one device school. There are 3 key platforms that your son will access to organise and perform his learning this year. The first is Student Cafe. Think of this as his admin hub. This is where your son will locate his timetable, track his academic achievement and submit assignments. The second is Student Portal. This is where your son will use single sign-on to access online texts for each subject, including Style, Education Perfect and IXL. He can also find the student learning space here, as well as exam schedules, assessment planners, curriculum handbooks, and tutoring information. The final platforms are Teams and OneNote. This year, every subject will utilise Microsoft applications, Teams and OneNote as their online learning environments. Here, your son will access course outlines, task sheets, lesson content, revision materials, collaborative spaces, teacher feedback, and video instruction. All platforms can be accessed at any time, which is invaluable for students when completing work outside of the classroom. Homework. Cognitive science research tells us that in secondary school, homework tasks, such as space practice or rehearsal, play a vital role in the retention of knowledge and the mastery of skills. Our experience as teachers tells us that Year 12 students who experience the highest degrees of academic success are those who have developed positive routines and homework habits back in Year 7. Expect that homework will typically take about 1 hour per evening, sometimes less and sometimes more, and it may involve content revision, skill application, task completion, assignment progression, or exam revision. Assessment. This year, we are implementing a new assessment model in Year 7 to support a healthy transition. The most significant change is that formative assessment will replace summative assessment in Term 1, while students adapt to new faces, routines, and expectations. What's the difference between formative and summative assessment? Summative assessment is usually a major task, traditionally handed in at the end of the term, used to assign and report a grade that assesses performance. Formative assessment tasks, on the other hand, are generally short, not onerous, and are not used for formal reporting. They are completed earlier in the term to reveal what students know and can do.
The data produced by formative assessment enables responsive teaching targeted to student readiness for enhanced performance. When Year 7s begin submitting their summative assessment in Term 2, there will be 2 other notable changes to the assessment model. The first is more varied genres. Faculties have collaborated to ensure a spread of task types each term, including assignments, exams, performances, and portfolios. The second is staggered due dates. Rather than have all assessments due at the end of term, faculties have collaborated to ensure assessment is spread throughout. Please note that while portfolio tasks are typically due at the end of term, students will be provided with checkpoints throughout the term. It is important that students meet these mini deadlines to ensure portfolios are broken into manageable chunks. An assessment calendar is used to advertise assessment due dates to parents and students, and this will be promoted online shortly. In addition to internal assessment, Year 7 students will also complete NAPLAN and PAT standardised tests. These assessments provide us with valuable measures of your son's literacy and numeracy achievement and growth compared to his cohort, the state, and the nation. You will receive 3 formal report cards per year. The first, at the end of Term 1, is an interim report focused on engagement and behaviour. The second 2, each at the end of a semester, are grade-based. In between reporting periods, I strongly encourage you to monitor your son's achievement on summative assessment using the progressive reporting tool in Parent Lounge and Student Cafe. Grades are posted 3 weeks after submission due dates for every subject, so you will always know how your son is achieving. Academic support. At Laurie's, we are dedicated to supporting and enriching your son's learning. Heads of faculty and teaching staff provide discipline-specific tuition at varied times, including before and after school and during break times. Timetables will be promoted online shortly. In addition, college leadership coordinates Study Starter on Monday and Wednesday afternoons in the school library, where Old Boy tutors provide subject-specific support and guidance. Please contact the Head of Learning Support, Miss Deborah Tui, or the Head of Gifted and Talented, Miss Naomi Lightbody, if you would like to know more about the excellent programs we offer to support and extend students. Finally, our mentoring program supports students in achieving personal excellence by setting and reviewing academic goals and by monitoring and discussing progress. Each Year 7 boy will receive regular and timely academic mentoring from their house mentor. Tracking of achievement over time will help to identify enrichment opportunities, disengagement, or academic difficulties. How to help? I'd like to conclude my presentation by suggesting 3 of the best things that you can do as a parent to support your son's academics as he transitions to secondary school. The first is to develop a routine. Boys absolutely thrive off routine. It provides a sense of safety and security at a tumultuous time in their lives. Work with your son to develop a realistic routine that incorporates academic, co-curricular, and personal commitments, as well as downtime. Make sure your son's routine is displayed prominently at home and check in regularly to see whether it works or if it needs to be adapted. Ensure that diary checking is a key part of this routine of an afternoon. Boys should use the diary to check off completed tasks and also to pack their school bags for the next day. The second thing that you can do is help your son to create a calm, neat, and distraction-free workspace where he can complete homework and assignments. For some families, this study sanctuary may be your son's bedroom. For others, it may be a nook next to the kitchen where you can check in on progress. Finally, please reach out to us if you have any questions at all. On this slide, I've listed frequent academic contacts. In the majority of instances, academic questions should be directed straight to the classroom teacher. Here, I recommend that you yield responsibility to your son. Have him ask his teacher questions directly. Email is great on the days in between lessons, but please give teachers time to reply. Their schedules are fully packed during the day, and like you, they're with their families of an evening. If your son needs to apply for an assignment extension, it's very important that he contacts the head of faculty of that subject area rather than his classroom teacher. He will need to complete a request form, which is signed by you. If your son is struggling with organisation or engagement, please reach out to the Head of Engagement, Ms. Sarah Higo. And finally, please contact me directly should you have any queries regarding absence during assessment time, subject selection, testing, including NAPLAN and PAT, or program modifications. Thank you very much for your time. I wish the very best of luck to you and your sons in the year ahead.
Good evening. My name's Kirsten Wardrop. I am the Dean of Logistics and Analytics here at St Lawrence's College. And I just want to spend a bit of time talking you through the way we communicate and you can gather information from a number of our different sites here at St Lawrence's College. Being quite a large college, we have a lot of information, a lot of positions where you can actually get some information out. Running through the information we get every week, there's a newsletter that'll be posted onto our website and through our app. We also have Twitter and Facebook accounts, and we have St Lawrence's College public website, which is obviously open to all members of our community as well as external people. We also have the college app, and I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about the college app and the information that's presented in that. We have our college intranet, which is our Laurie's Learning Gateway. Again, I've got some information regarding some changes that we've got going on with Laurie's Learning Gateway. And we have our YouTube channel. The YouTube channel might be really handy to you later on. If you want to do a little bit of online learning, it'll help support your students with some of that information that's there. It'll also give you some ideas as to some of our facilities that are in here and how you can take advantage of being a parent here at St Lawrence's College. So let's get started with our parent portal. The parent portal contains a lot of information for you. It's got information regarding canteen money, it's got the parent lounge sitting inside of it, information about our sports program, our uniform shop, and you're able to update passwords. There's also information regarding studies, careers, vet programs, and our counselling staff. What's really great about that is last year we started with our new Laurie's Learning Gateway, and as you'll see, the staff and the students have got access to the Laurie's Learning Gateway. Later on this year, you'll also have access to the Laurie's Learning Gateway, and there will be a parent portal sitting on the tabs like you can see here next to our staff and student portals. From this, you'll be able to see every subject area and curriculum area that's offered here at the college. And we have our what we call shop fronts, allowing you to access secondary school, primary school, and the different subjects that are offered in each of our faculty areas. Probably what's most important to you, and will give you the information that's specific to your son, is our Parent Lounge. Parent Lounge is a part of the bigger package where we've got teacher kiosk, your son's student cafe, and your Parent Lounge, accessible through the TAS suite. In the Parent Lounge, you'll be able to view things like your son's report card, the progressive assessment marks, the calendar that holds all college activities, and you'll be able to see and mark your son's attendance. You'll also have the opportunity to edit information like your address and your son's medical details and sign up for tours and excursions, including sports sign-ups. The easiest way to connect with our Parent Lounge is often through the college app on your phone. I highly recommend downloading the app and going from there. So once you click on the app, you'll notice all the tiles, and down the bottom left is Parent Lounge. Once you've logged into Parent Lounge using your parent code and password, at the top left-hand side, you'll notice a series of boxes. Click on that and then you'll have a drop-down menu. That drop-down menu gives you access to all of the different information that is sitting on teacher kiosks specific to your child. If you have more than one child here at the college, you will have to log in separately to access each one of their parent lounges. So if I wanted to have a look at my son's report card, I'd basically drop down the menu, go to academic reports, and on the academic reports, every report card that's been issued over the time of your son's enrolment is sitting in that space. You could also see your son's e-diary, having a look at what classes he's got on, and eventually in the future we'll have his actual assignments and assessments sitting inside that space. So to find that one, you scroll down to calendar, click on e-diary, and from that space there you can see your son's timetable, classes and assessment. Your son should have this app on his phone as well, and it's really important that you activate your notifications and you select the settings that are appropriate in the app. If it's a problem with your password or other information specific to the internet or logging in, please contact the IT Help Desk, 30101123, or their email. If it's actually some sort of functionality sitting inside your parent lounge, best to contact Admin Services. While there's always someone at the desk in school hours, the email address adminservices@slc.qld.edu.au is the best. Thanks for listening to this, and don't hesitate in contacting us if I can be of any help in any of these areas.